Well, it is a very mild winter day today. Temperatures are sitting right around the 0 degrees Celsius mark, right around the freezing point. We don't have a whole lot of snow. It's been a very interesting winter season so far this year. We haven't got a lot of snow, and what we do have is beginning to melt away, which makes it a little trickier to keep myself hydrated out here. Luckily, hiking through this area, I found this natural upwelling of water. Must be a spot where the groundwater is coming to the surface. So I've got a nice little stream of running water here. Looks like it should be a pretty good water source, so I'm going to look around the surrounding area to see if I can find a suitable place to call home for the night. Typically, this time of the year, there's usually a couple of feet of snow on the ground, which makes hiking a lot more difficult, and it can make finding a suitable campsite a little more challenging. This year, due to the lack of snow, the warmer weather melting away the snow that we do have, it's been pretty easy. I've come to this little spot where the ground is completely bare, nice little mossy area, which should be pretty good for a camp. The trees surrounding me are all relatively small. There's nothing too large, and they're all living. There's no dead standing trees, so I don't think that they pose much of a risk to falling on me throughout this trip. I do have a couple of dead trees behind me that are leaning over, but I'll just get them out of the way, use them for firewood, and this spot should be the perfect place to lay out my bedroll. One thing I really like about bedroll camping in this fashion is that it really forces you to minimize your kit. So with me I just have a few simple items: a water bottle, cutting board and some eating utensils, a small plate, my kettle, got my ditty bag and my food bag, then a little bit of extra clothing, which I likely won't be needing, but it might be nice to change into something before I go to bed, and take these waxed cotton layers off. Right now, time to get the fire started. Well, that was a pretty simple fire to get going. A lot of the tinder materials in the area are fairly wet from the snow melt recently, so I just opted to make a simple feather stick tinder bundle, and works pretty well for igniting a ember into flames, such as the one created from the char cloth and the flint and steel. So quick and easy to do. Throw a few bundles of dry spruce twigs on top and it takes right off. Just keeping a small fire. Definitely don't need a big lawn fire in these mild conditions. I'm not going to need any additional heat. Just my bedroll will be enough to get me through the night comfortably. So tonight, for supper, I've got a couple of deer steaks from the deer I harvested earlier this year. Cook them up, along with my pot of beans. Well, pretty quick and simple meal to cook up here. Try some of these beans. Love beans so much. These steaks are rather small. Little past medium there. But what they lack in size, they make up for in flavor. Oh man. Well, they're a little past where I usually cook them too. I usually like to make them a nice medium rare. They're probably like a medium well. Doesn't even matter though. They still taste absolutely fantastic. Beans and steak. It's a hard one to beat out here. Alright, our little spot here is looking pretty good. You can actually see where the water is coming up through the ground there, so that's pretty interesting. A little bit of debris in it, but that'll all settle after it boils. Well, it may not feel like winter, but the lack of long days certainly reminds me that spring is still very far away. So this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the night. Relaxing, enjoying the fire, smoking my pipe, drinking some tea. Got a little cherry Cavendish in here, so nice little sweet treat. Black tea. Well, it's been a really good day. Couldn't ask for nicer weather. Very mild temperatures, no wind, no rain, no snow. A very easy day out here for sure. Starting to get late, so I'm calling it a day. Tucked into my bedroll here. I got tarp underneath me, foam sleep pad, 2 layers of wool underneath me, 2 layers of wool on top of me, and then tarp on top of me. I'm gonna probably tuck my head underneath just so my face doesn't get cold. But yeah, very, very simple camp out this is. Very minimal setup, minimal gear, my style of camping. So I'm gonna head to sleep and I will see you guys in the morning. man. Hot coffee in the morning. That's where it's at. Had a really good night out here. It was calm all night. I don't even think it got below freezing. I stayed plenty warm. Had no issues sleeping. Only got up once throughout the night. I had these two big logs on the fire, so I just fed them a little further in and they stayed smoldering until morning. Got myself a good hot cup of coffee. Tastes great. This morning, however, the weather is not quite as nice. Certainly not as nice of a day as it was yesterday. We got some pretty good winds going through the area right now. Hoping they'll die down a bit. A lot of times it happens because of the heating and cooling. The sun's up now, so everything's warming up. Causes pressure changes. So maybe they'll die down a bit. Down on the ground it's not too bad though, so I shouldn't have too much of an issue maintaining my fire for breakfast. But all in all, great night out here. Yeah, these mild temperatures are a pleasure to camp out in. One happy camper. Since I'm dealing with wind this morning, I've decided to cook my breakfast on a bed of coals. I've removed my large logs from the fire, extinguished them, and I cut a bunch of small diameter fuel that I can burn down to create a nice coal bed. Well, I am excited for this. Let's try a piece of bacon here. Nice runny yolk. Oh man. Hash browns fried up in bacon grease. There is nothing better than that. The wind certainly hasn't let up at all, so I'm glad I opted to just cook over coals versus trying to cook over a fire, because when you get the wind involved, it's just too hard to control the heat. This is what I was after this morning. Woke up, I was hungry. This is perfect. Just a classic camp breakfast right here. Well, my belly's full, dishes are clean. All that's left to do now is pack up and hit the trail. This has been a really enjoyable camp. Really enjoyed this mild weather. Pretty relaxing, nice simple camp, but that's the way I like it. I'm just gonna relax a little, smoke my pipe, wait for my fire to die down. I'll extinguish it with some snow too, just to make sure that there's no heat left there. Then pack up and head out. So there you have it, the Bedroll camp. A camp that's very easy to set up and also quite easy to pack down. I've got the high noon sun shining bright, which means it's time to hit the trail. If you've stuck with me this far, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you will join me in the next one. Until then, God bless and happy trails.